5 Guardians may have a no-nonsense intro that places you immediately into the fray. It already assumes that you know a ton of backstory on the franchise. There's so much lore to this point, spanning comics, web series, and other shows, that it's hard to keep up. The basic gist this time around is that Master Chief is missing. Jameson Locke is sent to find him, and the Forerunners are still the big bad of the franchise. Everything else in between is kind of a blur. The campaign features 15 missions in all and is heavily built around the concept of fire teams, meaning you'll have 3 other characters following you at all times, ready to take orders by way of AI constructs or as player characters.
All clear.
If you're going the solo route, you can order your team to move to certain locations or attack specific targets. It's rudimentary at best, as the only command you have is a single D-pad stroke that does either of those 2 options, but it's very cool to see your team banter and blow enemies up by your side. Your teammates can also revive you if you're down, putting you back into the action much faster.
There is no honor in dying in a tent, medic.
Halo 5 Guardians features linear, more Call of Duty style levels, with the occasional miniature sandbox or mid-sized arena as a distraction. What we like about the campaign mechanically is that it's always forcing you to switch weapons between the human, Covenant, and Forerunner variety, which constantly puts you out of your comfort zone. There's a ton of weapons at this point in the franchise, and it feels like 343 didn't skip out or remove any, so expect somewhat of a learning curve.
Looks like we just missed all the fun.
When it comes to the campaign though, nothing blew us away outside of a few select missions. The first 5 are table-setting affairs as it stands, but even after you progress through those, the story never really goes anywhere. It's rather annoying in a way, as it relies so heavily on past games to a fault. We really enjoyed the original tale of Halo Combat Evolved, with the simplistic story of the Covenant and human conflict, with the Flood in the middle, but this new trilogy really isn't doing it for us.
Come a long way together. A long way yet to go.
So how does it play? So well that you'll often forget about how mediocre the 6-hour campaign is on standard difficulty. The gameplay has changed significantly, mostly due to the new mobility options and the power to aim down the sights of your gun, also known as ADS or iron sights. Players can also press a button to boost, which works both on land and in the air, and hold the melee button to slam down on the ground, or press it while running to trigger a dash attack. It really feels like a quicker hybrid arena shooter now with all these changes.
Hold bases, take down bosses, and eliminate enemy Spartans to earn points.
Warzone, however, is leaps and bounds more fun than the story. It's billed as a 12v12 mode that features a massive base tug-of-war, with enemy AI meddling on the side. In short, it really feels like a bite-sized story mix with multiplayer, and accomplishes most of the goals it set out to achieve. There's always something to do, and always players to kill. The large size of the maps also brings something to Halo that really hasn't been done before, as they're roughly 3 times bigger than past locations in the series.
Slayer.
On the other end of Halo 5's PvP component, you have Arena, traditional deathmatch game types across a handful of different modes. You can also create custom games online if you wish, with specific rule sets. Once you acclimate to ADS, this is basically the same Halo you've played many times before,
Gun punch.
for better or worse. So how about those rec microtransactions? They're actually pretty painless. While they provide power-ups such as single-use vehicles or weapons for Warzone play, they are entirely optional in Arena, and provide cosmetic upgrades or experience boosts. You can basically choose to ignore the system entirely and still excel, or slowly accrue in-game currency to buy them. Either way, it doesn't really impact the experience as a whole.
What was that?
Well, let's go find out. We're sitting ducks here.
Breathe. Move.
If it wasn't for Warzone, Halo 5 Guardians would probably be somewhere on the lower end of the franchise spectrum. It's still a well-oiled machine, but the story falls flat, and the shift in gameplay mechanics result in the loss of some of the elements that made the series so unique in the first place. We give Halo 5 Guardians for Xbox One a 7 out of 10. For Destructoid, this is Ray Versus.